Hey friend, welcome back to the Vision Driven Health Podcast, your go-to show for creating healthy habits that last in partnership with the God who created you. I want to make this as clear and practical as possible today. I'll start by saying some of you, maybe most of you, aren't super impressed with the idea of losing only 15 pounds between now and New Year's. Most people usually want faster results. But if you know me, you know how hard it is for me to even name an episode like that where I'm encouraging a certain amount of weight you can lose. But here's why I did it. I want to make healthy weight loss the predominant approach to weight loss. I want people to be educated and informed on what a healthy amount of weight to lose looks like in a given week or a month. I want people to opt in to sustainable approaches that enable them to lose weight and keep it off for years and decades to come. And I want people to lose weight in such a way that their overall health improves. They don't just see the number go down on the scale. They also see their blood work improve. They experience more energy. They know how to fuel their body to be and do what God has called them to do. And if that's the kind of weight loss you're interested in, and you do want to lose 15 pounds before the end of the year, keep listening, and I'll tell you exactly what to do. Do you find yourself struggling to consistently implement healthy habits? Do you lack energy, confidence, and motivation because of stress, overwhelm, and shame for having not gotten it together by now? Friend, there is hope and grace for your health. Hey, I'm Robin Ryan McDonald, host of the Vision Driven Health Podcast. I'm a follower of Jesus, a wife, a mama of two, and a seminarian turned health coach. And I'm so excited that you're here. I found myself in my early 20s captive to cravings and convenience, 20 pounds heavier, super tired, with a face full of acne. I could not figure out how to maintain healthy habits until I discovered the power of aligning my choices with God's vision. 10 years and 2 kids later, by the grace of God, I'm still prioritizing my health and feeling amazing. If you are over quick fixes and are ready to feel good in your own skin, then grab a giant water bottle and let's dive on in. As a reminder, the Vision Driven Health Podcast is under the umbrella of Naval Health Incorporated. The content on this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not intended for medical advice. It does not take the place of medical advice or treatment from a physician. Listeners should consult their own doctor or a qualified healthcare professional for specific health concerns and questions. Okay, so before we get into the details of how to lose 15 pounds before New Year's, I have a spoiler/confession. I personally and wholeheartedly believe that the best way that you can accomplish this in a healthy way, losing the 15 pounds before the end of the year, is by joining the Healthy Weight Loss Academy. Now, I know, I'm biased, but here's the thing. I've seen dozens of clients lose weight in a healthy way and keep it off based off of the methods that I coach on. Not only that, and honestly, what I am most passionate about with this is the impact that it has on their overall health. For example, one client of mine who I started working with 7 years ago just messaged me a couple weeks ago to tell me that what she learned in her time working with me has continued to help her stay off medications, know how to engage her doctor, and get stronger while still maintaining a healthy weight. Another former client was just talking to me 2 days ago and said that she used to drive through fast food restaurants on the regular. She'd get the burgers, the tacos, whatever, all of it with a giant Diet Coke on the side, and she wouldn't think anything of it. And now she wouldn't even dream of going through one of those drive-thrus. And her transformation actually started 9 years ago, and she has fluctuated a little bit in her weight, but at the end of the day, the overall health and vitality that she has improved dramatically. And she was saying, hey, thanks for sharing what you did, because I definitely have experienced a transformation because of working with you. So if you want to end this year knowing what to eat, knowing how to meal plan, how to meal prep, how to make your food that your whole family will love, and then how to fit in the workouts and ultimately how to create healthy habits that will stand the test of the holidays and carry you into 2025. Today is the last day you can sign up for the September cohort. Don't even listen to the rest of this episode. Just pause and go to visiondrivenhealth.com/course and jump in so that I can get you plugged in. And then you can come back and listen to the rest of it. So hopefully I'll see you in there. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into how to lose 15 pounds between now and the end of the year. I was looking up Christian meal guides and resources online the other day. I was just curious what's out there. I'm kind of considering whether or not I want to create some things to put out there myself. But I was shocked at what I saw numerous options, or I guess you'd say advertisements for. They weren't advertisements. They were actual products that you could get. Now, for whatever reason, when I typed in Christian or biblical health resources, I think I typed in like meal plans or meal guides, or I don't know. I tried a couple different things, but I found all kinds of posts for weight loss spells. So yes, spells, demonic magic spells that you can cast on yourself to lose weight. And some were advertising same day weight loss and all kinds of crazy things. They even had the little like weird demonic symbols on there and the candles and stuff. It was super, super disturbing. And what was even more disheartening were the numerous reviews, and some of them, a lot of them, 5-star reviews that people were putting on there. And I mean, I hope that you hear that and you're like, oh, let me check that out, because obviously that should be a major check to your heart from the Holy Spirit of like, hey, if you're willing to use that, maybe we really need to look at some things. But I honestly felt like I needed to scrub my eyes and computer for even like having that on there, because seriously, I just find that so unsettling. And in some ways, it grieves me because it shows what people are willing to do to try and lose weight and to lose it fast. So, but what I do think actually speaks volumes to the importance of partnering with God and the power of God in our health journey is recognizing that the enemy is a deceiver and a thief. The devil tries to take God's good things and repackage them and make them a trap. So weight loss, it's a good thing when it's healthy. It's also a great thing to make a spiritual matter. It's not weird. I don't think it's weird at all that there are spiritual resources for weight loss, because we are, one, there is 100% a spiritual dynamic to it, but two, we're designed to partner with God in all things. And God is very interested in partnering with you in your health and your weight loss journey. But obviously we want to do it in partnership with Him and nothing else. And we want to do it His way. So let's actually talk about what it looks like to pursue healthy weight loss based on God's design for your body. So this episode is coming out September 9th. There are 16 weeks left in this year, which, hey, by the way, that's exactly how many weeks are in my one-on-one program. You can check out the link to that in my show notes. I don't always advertise my one-on-one program as much, but it's honestly one of the most hands-on ways that you can work with me and get support. But I said you can learn to lose 15 pounds between now and the end of the year, because then that would mean you'd lose just shy of a pound each week. Now, friend, this is a healthy amount of weight to lose each week if you need to lose weight. Now, I think there are instances when losing more than that in a single week can be healthy as well. I know a lot of times with my clients, if they aren't already intentionally eating and living in a healthy way, they'll start making the changes that I recommend to them. And then within the first week or two, they actually drop a lot more quickly. Some of that initial weight is inflammation or water weight, or if they aren't someone who's consumed a lot of vegetables or fiber, their system gets cleared out and drops a few pounds there. I've also had clients do a more aggressive approach to weight loss that was closer to 2 pounds a week, but that would only be for specific periods of time, or certain, maybe they were doing a spiritual fast, or maybe they did an uptick in their workouts, or something happened where it was a little bit higher. But it's not something that we try to shoot for on a consistent basis, because oftentimes what it takes to hit a 2-pound loss each week, week in and week out, can compromise other aspects of your health. So I say all of that because the tips that I'm about to give you are for the intention of trying to lose about a pound a week. So here is what I have my clients and students do. Number 1, pray about it and deal with all the mental and spiritual lies and blocks that have thwarted your consistency in the past. I know I talk a lot about this on the podcast. This is always step 1 in my programs, in my one-on-one program, in the Healthy Weight Loss Academy. If you don't deal with what's prevented success in the past, you're going to just end up back where you started. Even if you do get really good nutritional tips and ways that you can create healthy habits, if you haven't addressed the lies that say, oh, you never stay consistent with anything, you're weak-willed, you're just going to end up with the health issues of your parents and your grandparents. All of those lies will continue to come at you when you're trying to make changes. And so if you don't deal with them, all the rest of the tips don't matter. So don't skip that step. Really spend time with the Lord. Let Him reveal to you what's in the way there, what needs to be healed, what needs to be set free within you so that you can begin this process in a good, ready, and whole place. Number 2, start cooking majority of your meals. Make eating out the exception. Part of what helps this is meal planning and prepping, which I do have a whole week dedicated to that in the Healthy Weight Loss Academy. And unless you can afford a chef or a really quality meal service, the best and arguably the only way you can lose weight in a healthy way is to get in the kitchen and cook. Now, I know people have lost weight with minimal cooking or no cooking, but if we become dependent on pre-made processed foods for majority of our nutrition, we are doing our bodies a disservice. And I'm not talking about buying the pre-cut veggies or even necessarily the pre-cooked grilled chicken strips, though you do want to make sure that they aren't using vegetable oils in that. But I'm more so talking about the frozen dinners, the weight loss foods that you buy on auto ship or whatever, and the weight loss bars and boxed things, or even the stuff that you buy pre-made from the store. All of those things have additives and extra things in it that just are lacking in the nutrition that you really need. They're lacking in, honestly, the things that God put in real whole foods for you to have. And oftentimes they're high glycemic and can cause inflammation and other issues. So when you start with whole foods, when I say whole foods, I mean meat, vegetables, fruit, like chicken, broccoli, beef, apples, sweet potato, like those are whole foods. They haven't been massively processed in any which way or form. And when you start with whole foods and you put that together for yourself in the kitchen, and you can do so in a way, I promise, that tastes so, so delicious, you are inevitably creating a massive improvement to your health. And if you cook for your family, your whole family as well. Now, when you're putting these meals together, think protein, veggie, and starch for each meal. Mostly protein, a good amount of veggies, and a little bit of a complex carb like sweet potatoes, fruit, quinoa. I also really like protein pasta. Sometimes we'll do organic rice. But I generally try to stick with non-grain options unless, again, I can get a quality source for it. So that's number 2. Start cooking. Number 3, prioritize protein. One of the things I teach my clients on is how to figure out their body's specific needs for protein, fat, and carbs. So generally, you want to shoot for at least 1 gram of protein for every lean pound of body mass. So for example, I am about 150, 152 pounds and about 120, 125 pounds of lean mass. So I need at least 120 grams of protein each day, minimum. I also want to increase my skeletal muscle. I do try to do resistance training things. And I'm also sometimes navigating various levels of stress with my little guys and whatnot. So it is beneficial to me to try to pursue closer to 140 or 150 grams of protein. Now, when you're putting together your meals, you do want to try to put together the protein first. So ground beef, chicken thighs or chicken breast, pulled pork, salmon, eggs, cottage cheese, yogurt. All of these are great sources of protein and sources that I consume regularly myself. I have eggs and cottage cheese usually in the morning. I'll do chicken or yogurt for lunch. Sometimes I'll do like a sausage or something for lunch. That's one of the more processed things that we eat on a regular basis. And then for dinner, I usually kind of do a higher protein, larger meal where we will have, beef, chicken, pork, salmon, something to that extent. And then I'll also sometimes supplement with a protein bar or a protein shake. Again, these are more processed items, so I do try to make sure I get really high quality. I love Odyssey bars. They're high in protein, they have clean ingredients, and they have a good amount of fiber. And then for my protein powder, I really like Thorne, Thorne. They're a supplement company. They usually service naturopathic doctors or functional medicine doctors. They have a really high standard for their ingredients and their formulas for their supplements. They've got a protein powder called Mediclear SGS that actually serves as a liver detox in addition to providing protein. I really like that one. They also have one called Recovery Pro, which is in chocolate flavor and tastes really good at night in the middle of the summer with a little bit of ice and frozen banana and maybe a teeny bit of peanut butter. Super tasty. I'll have the links for those in the show notes. For Thorne, you can actually get 20% off with my link. But even though I do use the supplements, I do try to get as much as I can from the whole foods to begin with. Supplements are rightly named. They are supplemental to a solid, strong diet that you're eating whole foods. And then number 3 was to prioritize protein. Number 4 is to track your food. Now, I'll be honest, this is my least favorite tip. It's my least favorite thing to have clients do. It can be tedious. It can be hard. It can be frustrating. And it's something I didn't start out doing with my clients, but I have realized if you don't track, we don't really know what you're eating. And all of those little extra bites and things that we forget about end up creating, I guess when we're trying to solve the mystery of why the scale won't budge, when we track, the mystery becomes solved because we can see exactly what's being consumed. And so I show my clients and students how to track their food according to the macros that I show them how to calculate for themselves. And you can, track your food by writing things down. Sometimes just writing down what you eat reveals how much or little you are consuming, and then that can create a reference for how you can adjust. But I do think the best option is usually to use an app like MyFitnessPal. It's free and it has a massive database that's pretty easy to look up whatever you've eaten, if you've eaten out or if you have used a processed food item, it's usually in the system. But obviously I encourage trying to cook most of your stuff at home. So it's pretty cool. They have a feature where you get the link to the recipe you're using and you can plug it in and it'll pull the ingredients out and kind of help tell you, hey, if you eat this much of the recipe you just did, then that's this many calories or macros or whatnot. So I do recommend that. And then once you are tracking your food, adjust how much you eat based on how you feel. So if your energy is feeling really low, you're probably not eating enough. And then also you do want to check the scale. So if you're losing weight, but your energy is low and you're kind of feeling like extra irritable, eat more food. Again, we're only going for 1 pound loss a week. And I don't have my clients go below 1,200 calories unless they're 5 foot 2 inches or shorter. And it actually makes sense based on their size. Otherwise, most people do not need to go below that. But apps like MyFitnessPal or other weight loss apps will ask I guess you could call them food tracking apps. They're going to ask you how much weight you want to lose. And then they'll ask you how fast you want to lose it. And then they'll provide you a calorie count to hit. And so if you said like, oh yeah, I want to lose 20 pounds in a month or 25, 30 pounds in a month, then it might put you on a recommended calorie amount for less than 1,200 calories. Don't follow that. Don't do that. I recommend tracking your food based on what you normally eat. Try really hard to just do what you normally do and just plug it into the app for like 2 to 3 days, because then you'll know how much you're eating. You'll have the data for it. Then you can start by cutting 100 to 200 calories unless you're like super way overeating and you could cut closer to 200 or 300 calories, but just cut a little bit and then do that consistently at that deficit for 3 to 5 days and see if you get any results. And then it is kind of a trial and error dynamic. But if you're not tracking, you don't have the data to work with, you don't know how to tweak things, And one of the things I coach my clients on in my one-on-one program is how to transition from tracking to intuitive eating, because at the end of the day, nobody wants to be tracking for the rest of their life. And that's really the goal. And so the number 5 is to do 15 minutes of non-negotiable movement. Now, this one is really big if you want to lose weight. At the very least, you want to take a 15-minute walk each day. Now, ideally, you'd do a 15-minute walk a day and then 2 to 4 resistance training workouts a week. Now, this doesn't have to be anything crazy or excessive. You can just do some squats, lunges, and push-ups. If you can't do a push-up, then do them on a wall or an elevated surface. If you can't do a squat, then do it from a chair. If you have knee issues, then, there's so many variations and options you can do. You can literally look it all up on YouTube. But you want to be doing things that build muscle, because muscle improves your metabolism, which significantly helps with weight loss. But more importantly, it helps with improving your overall health and longevity. Now, this is something that I help my one-on-one clients with by putting together workout plans in addition to the course and all the other things. But in the Healthy Weight Loss Academy, students are encouraged to do movement in the ways that they've already kind of figured out how to do. So, to recap, number 1, pray about it. Deal with all the things with the Lord. Number 2, start cooking majority of your meals. Number 3, prioritize protein. Number 4, start tracking your food. Number 5, get that 15-minute non-negotiable movement in every single day. And if I were to throw in 2 bonus tips or habits that you want to implement to achieve the 15-pound weight loss between now and the end of the year, I would say make sure you're hydrated, drinking enough water, and trying to make most of your drinks water, especially as we move into the fall and the holidays, because it's so easy to make a lot of our liquids more of those like festive coffee drinks or other festive drinks. So try to make water your jam, and then also try to get 7.5 hours of sleep. Those 2 would be the bonuses. But if you aren't already doing the things that I just listed, I am so sure that you will feel a difference by implementing them. And if you do them over the next 16 weeks, I would honestly be surprised if you didn't lose at least 10, if not 15 or more pounds. You can learn the details of how to partner with God to deal with whatever's prevented you from succeeding in the past. You can learn how to calculate your macros, how to meal prep, and how to fit this all into your schedule by joining the Healthy Weight Loss Academy. And today is your last day to do so, at least for the September cohort. Go to visiondrivenhealth.com/course. Otherwise, I hope you implement these and feel the difference. Blessings and joy. Thank you so much for listening to the Vision Driven Health podcast today. I hope this episode inspired you, supported you, and blessed you in some way. If it did, it would mean the world if you would leave a 5-star written review on Apple Podcast and share this episode on your social media. The more reviews and shares this gets, the more people can be blessed and encouraged in creating a Jesus-centered, sustainable, healthy lifestyle. If you want to hang with me and other Jesus-loving ladies who are creating healthy habits that last, be sure to join my free Facebook group, the Made Well Mastermind. Use the link in the show notes to join. Be blessed with hope, joy, and health. I'll see you next week. Again, the Vision Driven Health podcast is under the umbrella of Mabel Health Incorporated. The content on this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not intended for medical advice. It does not take the place of medical advice or treatment from a physician. Listeners should consult their own doctor or a qualified healthcare professional for specific health concerns and questions.